decisions going on, depending if you do new route or old route, and within your route, whether you save, take risk or not, the time you spend to farm, and overall the execution is very, very important. So we'll see how well that goes for both runners as they start the Ceres station.
Well, we immediately noticed right off the gate that Krauser is using the infamous Blat split. So it's a lot of different opinions on that, but definitely has a pretty high win rate in the tournament. Only a couple people have lost with it, so we'll see if Krauser can keep that up.
Yep, it's a lot of very important stats to keep track of, and the Blat timer has a very good success rate. But for now, it's going to be very close between those two, as Ridley takes the baby Metroid and leaves, as the station is going to self-destruct, so we have to leave as fast as possible. You can always bet on the final time for both runners in chat. I will go with high 45 for Krauser. But yeah, nothing too much to be said here.
Looks like both runners running about a 45 series, but as I say that, Maniacal takes a fall there and loses a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So
it's that climb at the end is kind of devilish. If you just spend the tiniest amount of time, like you will get hit by the jet stream and just fall back and having to do the jumps again. But 42 seconds still okay, and we get to Plant Zebus, where the run actually starts, pretty intensely with the few first rooms leading to the pit, and it's not that easy, even right off the bat. So runners will have to get on their best performance here as they enter, and we are going to grab a couple of mandatory items: the morph ball, the first missiles, the bombs, just to be able to actually start to do anything in the game.
We see Krauser using the Moonfall. Doesn't look like Maniacal is. Or, never mind. Going for a little bit of a different setup than we've seen from most runners this tournament, but still a nice Moonfall down V climb.
Saves a couple of seconds, and it looks so slow. And now that we know what the Moonfall looks like when you see a runner actually falling at normal speed, it's super, super slow. And Morphing Ball for Krauser. Very nice. Being able to actually go into smaller spaces, and will allow him to get the missiles there.
You can see the how good Krauser is already, being a few seconds ahead of Maniacal this early, just from his mechanics. So definitely something to watch, since of course Krauser is one of the better runners we have in the tournament.
Yeah, it does show like everywhere, every single room. There's like a minor room for improvement due to execution and such. And there's a couple of tough rooms here where you encounter first the space pirates, and you want to be able to go as fast as possible, obviously, but anything will be a huge setback. And you don't want to lose any HP at all, because you will need to be full HP if you want like the better luck for the bomb torso fight. So it's all pretty intense, but perfect climb using the wall jump for Krauser. Same strat for Maniacal, which is falls down here. Was doing a pretty good job so far. But that room is probably one of the hardest in the first 15 minutes of the run.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty difficult room to do optimally. But what I was going to say is, of course, if you are injured going into Bomb Torizo, he has a chance of dropping health instead of missiles, and you want him to drop as many missiles as he can to finish the fight with only 1 round of drops. And we will see if our runners get that. And
You want to be
Krauser
able
gets
to-
it beautifully.
Yeah, very nice. You want to be able to grab just a first stack of the missiles, but let some other, which is not that easy because usually you jump too high and get everything in one go, and you have to wait for another cycle. Let's see how Maniacal does it. Full HP also.
Maniacal not getting great drops though. Didn't get all the missiles he needed. But he's still gonna be pretty well off. Not having too much trouble with Bomb Torizo.
It's been a while since I've seen Bomb Torizo without its head in a speed gaming race, but it happens from time to time. And yeah, a couple of rooms ahead, Krauser will get to Brainstar first, choosing not to kill the Spice Pirates, which indicates to me that he might go old route, although I don't know.
Right, so of course, for those of you who don't know, in that room, if you're going to go new route, you generally want to missile those pirates down to conserve health, since you go up to a much more dangerous segment of the run first in new route, in Fantoon. So you can missile the pirates and still be going old route, but if you are going to take the damage, it almost definitely means you're not going to go new route, but maybe Krauser is just showing off. We'll see.
We'll see. Very nice damage boost, by the way, in that first super missile room after you do the mug ball to get under those doors that close right behind you. We saw him like jump into an enemy and actually like getting the damage boost while the enemy, like, it's very hard to set up because you don't exactly see what's going on because of the way the screen scrolls, and it's that kind of tricks that actually show when a runner is very experienced with the run, when every single of those tricks go very smoothly like that.
Of course, Krauser being one of the best runners, also one of the most what's the word I'm looking for? I guess the player that's been running the longest. He's been running the game for a very long time, so he definitely has the muscle memory for a lot of the earlier rooms, especially. So we don't expect him to mess up anything early on in the run.
So far, not much to be said routing-wise, except for those super missiles that we get early in a speedrun. If you've never seen a Super Metroid speedrun, you don't kill Spore Spawn to get the first super missiles, but usually it's pretty well known that you can grab those and just get out of Brainstar pretty quickly, and then it's a bottom route for Krauser in that red tower. So yeah, it's going to be old route, same route that Maniacal is going to go for. So Crate first, and then we'll go Fantoon, Dragon, and Force Boss will be Ridley. So pretty standard way to go. Although not the fastest, but probably the safest for both runners.
Right, of course, Krauser is a primarily new route runner, but he may be going old route just for the safety in the group stages where he's not necessarily playing against other top runners. Might just want to play it safe, go for a easier route. So that could explain why he's deciding to go old route here.
So if you want to see where the tournament is at, you have the !SM in chat command that will give you the bracket. And for group, group K, we have Krauser with 1 win and Maniacal with 1 win, 1 loss. The top 2 of each group is going to advance to the next phase. So you want to be able to play safe enough so you know you are stacking up wins, but on some races you actually have to go as fast as possible. I don't remember who had the fastest loss, but it was actually quite fast.
I think it was Kip, right? Running against Behemoth, where he ran like a low 45.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but
yeah, Maniacal entering Kraid as Krauser exiting it. High five. And Kraid is a pretty quick kill if you don't let him go above ground. It's a nice one. It's pretty like tight timing wise to be able to freezing him in place. Maniacal using the charge beam method to get the mouse open exactly the right way, and then 4 super missiles got the job done very nicely. And we get the Varia suit that allows the players to go into the heated rooms, heated areas, especially Norther, where Krauser is headed at. And all here is all about doing your shopping list, getting all the items you need to be able to almost finish the run. We'll get the high jump, a couple of energy tanks, the speed booster, the wave beam. It's a nice loadout to have so early, and then it's going to be a nice breeze through the wreck chip and Moridia with all the stuff we're collecting right now.
Absolutely. And then, of course, after that, the runners will be going back up to the wreck ship to fight Fantoon, and then work their way through the intended boss order with all the items they've collected from Norfair.
Maniacal choosing to get that extra energy tank right after Kraid. It's about 20-second detour, but it makes it for such safer run. You just need 3 E-tanks to be able to beat the game, but beating every area, especially lower Norfair, with only 3 E-tanks, and the boss fights also are kind of tense, so if you're not sure, it's a very good choice, wise decision to invest those 20 seconds.
Right, Krauser did not opt to pick up the Kraid tank, so he is going to be an E-tank lower than Maniacal for pretty much the whole run, which, of course, he's a very experienced runner. He probably feels confident without it, but it is still very dangerous, as he has a little bit of trouble in Bubble Mountain.
Not the easiest jump, like the cack attack at the top will sometimes just roll the runners, and just the first wall jump can be quite tight to get, but no problem here. Second try for Krauser. And yeah, like Super Metroid, like anything can happen pretty much. You can lose a lot of time just having to play safe because you lack a little bit of health. Some areas, lower Norther especially, can become very tense, very difficult with the Kai Hunter dealing a ton of damage. So yeah, it's a choice, but Maniacal certainly picking that E-tank makes sense, just to be able to finish the run, and maybe hoping for Krauser to having an accident to death. But it's how the game works sometimes. So Krauser finally has the speed booster. We'll get the wave beam right after that. But now the game gets even trickier speedrunning wise, because you still have all that pretty tense execution going on, and the speed booster and the shine sparks are going to add to that, just that layer of complexity everybody loves for that game. Oh, Maniacal taking a hit, falling back down to Bubble Mountain. Going to do that wall jump again. Very nice.
Interesting that he didn't get the super from the cack attack at the top of the mountain. Just instead gonna farm the bugs before speed booster to get a super for this door. Not a bad choice, but not one we see a lot of players go for.
As long as you have the resources, it's all good. Krauser getting that second super. You need some here. A lot of players will farm for a lot of resources right after getting the speed booster. I don't recall how much Krauser killed, but apparently not that much.
Krauser farmed the bugs twice, and looks like Maniacal is gonna farm for full ammo, so he takes a third farm, gets a little bit better RNG than Krauser. On the second farm, he had 4 supers compared to Krauser's 2. Of course, you only need 2 supers coming out of Norfair, which we see Krauser has. So it's just a comfort thing more than a requirement, but
Yeah.
Maniacal is going to have a lot better ammo up until Fantoon.
I mean, I've been in the wreck ship with no super and nothing drops any, and you have to actually go back. And I'm always a little bit scared. But here, Krauser gets an extra super, so no problem for him. Going back up the red tower, you'll notice he doesn't have the ice beam, so obviously it's going to be a little bit harder, but using the down grab method, very nice, very nice, very impressive strat to get up there.
Yeah, that down grab is not an easy trick to get, so definitely impressive stuff from Krauser. We will probably see Maniacal go for the traditional hero shot method up red tower, so that will be in a minute or so, so hopefully Maniacal can get that no problem, whichever method he decides to do.
So Krauser here uses the power bomb. The idea is to open the door because he's going to be back here, like right after wreck ship, and he'd rather have the door open right now because he can get his power bomb back immediately, so he's still at 5. So it's all about ammo management and optimization, which works very nicely in the end.
Gonna pick up both the drops from the crabs there. We do see some runners elect to just run past those crabs after placing the power bomb instead of picking up the drops. Just means he gets a little bit more health, and we saw Maniacal go for Alpha Spark, but unfortunately Spark up instead of to the left. So that's going to cost him about a second from the crash animation of Shine Spark, but he's not going to be too upset about that.
127 energy for Krauser entering Fantoon. Obviously, I'm always a bit scared because Fantoon can be quite hard for new players, but yeah, it should not be a problem. Very nice blue ball here, and entering the boss as Maniacal gets to the room before the power bombs. So about a minute and a half lead for Krauser so far.
Personally, I feel like this is the most dangerous part of the run without picking up grade tank. You have about 1 E-tank worth of health fighting Fantoon without the extra energy from the grade tank, so if things go badly, you can take a lot of damage. But it doesn't look like things are going badly for Krauser. Got a slow pattern first, I think, but he's gonna finish off Fantoon with a nice slow mid. Not great patterns, but definitely great execution from Krauser.
Went for the hybrid, first X Factor, then Doppler, very nicely done. And leaving the room with actually more HP than he entered it with, and plus the drops, so he's all refilled very nicely. And Maniacal is going actually to enter the ship, charging a spark here. And whiffing again.
Maniacal is having a bit of trouble with the Shine Sparks right now.
Okay, it's all good. They're going to be able to enter the wreck ship as Krauser He's making his way to the attic, so he'll be able to grab his gravity suit pretty soon. A couple of very difficult rooms, exiting the wreck ship, execution-wise. Climbing optimally is always pretty tough. And then killing all those enemies as he struggles to get the jump here.
So this is a pretty neat attic strat from Krauser here, where he power bombs all the enemies right outside the door and then uses the blue suit from the speed booster to kill all the other enemies. It's a pretty tough strat, actually. A lot of runners just opt to Shine Spark, which loses a little bit of health over what Krauser did, but it is a lot easier. And Maniacal had a lot of trouble getting over Ocean, but he is going to be heading over to Phantoon in just a second here.
Very little HP though, 106 energy. I wonder if he is going to has to go with what he has, and yeah, it's going to be a scary one. For if he didn't pick that Kraid E-Tank, he would have exactly 6 energy, which is not what you wish for at that point of the fight.
Oh, absolutely not. But either way, he is going to have to be pretty careful here. Ooh,
So
shoots an extra missile into Phantoon there. Interestingly, he's going for Doppler strat instead of the X Factor.
Yeah, he has the power bombs and still uses his missiles. 56 energy.
He's getting pretty good patterns here, and it looks like he is going to have a clean 4 round. Though as I say that, he misses a shot because Phantoon decided to give him a fast eye close. So pretty much everything Phantoon does can be either fast, medium, or slow, from his initial pattern to how fast he closes his eye to if you miss the eye, how fast he reappears after that. So there's a lot of RNG involved in Phantoon, and if things go wrong or you just get unlucky, things can go badly. But Maniacal not having too much, or not being in too much danger, and he finishes off his Phantoon.
Krauser is always having a good, keen eye on his resources. Always, killing a few enemies here and there, getting their drop. He got, the guarantee power bomb here in the red tower, just to get through at that point. And it's pretty nice to see that he always seems to know how much exactly he needs at what point.
He also has really good health. Normally you would see runners with a little bit more than an E-Tank heading into Meridia, whereas Krauser has close to full. So, of course, he probably doesn't need that much health, especially since he's about to pick up Botwoon E-Tank. But it is a nice little bit of comfort to have in case things go south.
Botwoon is not the most scary fight, but you can lose a lot of time if it doesn't go exactly as planned. Preparing a power bomb, which indicates X Factor strat, I guess, on Botwoon.
Yeah, so most runners will of course be going for the X Factor strat on Botwoon, where you X Factor him as soon as he appears and then hit him with 6 super missiles, which does exactly enough damage to kill him, and we see Krauser executing that perfectly. He does want to pick up a power bomb to get an X Factor on Dragon, but he's pretty good on everything else.
Yeah, he's going to get a a Shine Spark here. Nope, not even to fall. Okay. So he would go for some missile, but gets ready for a full heavy. And gets it no problem. It is impressive. It is very, very fantastic execution-wise. Nails some very, very hard tricks here. And gets into the dragon fight without any power bombs, so we'll have to deal damage, mainly using the Shine Sparks, and starts by killing the turrets with 3 missiles each. No problem.
So the optimal way to kill Dragon is to hit him with an X Factor and a Shine Spark on his first swoop, and then 2 Shine Sparks on his second swoop. But unfortunately, without the X Factor, that isn't possible, as it is very hard to kill Dragon with just 3 swoops and no X Factor. It requires pretty much perfect sparks. That being said, Krauser did enter the fight with a lot of ammo, so he did do a good amount of damage with that, but he is a pretty low now, so this could be dangerous, but Dragon looks like he's almost dead.
Yeah, although no resources, 88 HP is certainly not where you want to be at. Giving him good patterns also.
I actually went for a pseudo screw into Dragon. So, for people who don't know, pseudo screwing into the back of Dragon will do damage to her. So, Krauser thought he had enough damage to kill her, but not quite, as he is very low. But so is Dragon.
No, this is very close. And no, Maniacal did not die. He got a pretty tough dragon fight, and phantom fight, sorry. And is just overall a little bit behind. But just Krauser is having a fantastic run. Tough fight against Dragon though. Probably wished he had the power bomb to start with.
He also went for Spike suit there, but he unfortunately got the bad frame on the spark, so he did not get the suit. So he's just gonna have to space jump out of full halfy room Coliseum, I think it's called.
Yeah, Coliseum.
So he's just gonna have to space jump out of this.
Maniacal having trouble here to get into Mount Everest. And yeah, Krauser slowly making his way back. We're going to go grab the plasma beam, because why not? At that point, we still have quite a lot of room, and it's still a fantastic weapon.
Right, of course, Old Route doesn't pick up the best beam Spazer, instead opting for plasma. So, it's a nice consolation prize, at least.
Certainly.
Shout out to Sephi.
So yeah, the runners don't electrocute Dragon because you need the grapple beam, and obviously the detour to get grapple, killing Crocomire, and is not worth it at all. So you just have to fight him using your fists and bare hands. Or actually your beams. It looks like Maniacal missed the X Factor at the start of the Botwin fight. I've seen a particle.
Yeah, he missed 2 particles on Dragon, so he's just gonna have to sit here and shoot Botwoon, but unfortunately due to some interesting hitboxes from Botwoon, it's going to take a bit longer than it should.
Slowly making his way, as Krauser just got the plasma beam, killing all the pirates here to exit the room, and will make his way to Lower Norther, because we still have 1 boss to kill before being able to enter Torian.
Ooh, Maniacal almost went down that quicksand. So that would have led him back to Aqueduct. So he would have had to go back around to this room. Would have lost him a pretty significant chunk of time. But he made it out.
He's doing good resources-wise, so no problem. We'll attempt to go for a full halfy, or half-halfy maybe. So this Shine Spark requires you to charge it before... Oh no, and Goops it again. Like, this is the fourth time.
Went for the halfy, but all he got was the goopy. Unlucky from Maniacal, but missing the halfy actually doesn't lose too much time. It's actually the full halfy that saves the majority of the time here, so he's not losing as much, assuming he was just going for standard halfy.
It looked like it, at least. And in order to be able to beat the game, we still need that one item Krauser is going for right now. We didn't pick it earlier, although we could have, just because it was actually not good to have too early. The ice beam is actually just necessary. So we get it on the way to Lower Norther. Maniacal. Yeah, Maniacal is having a lot of troubles with his Shine Sparks. I don't know what's happening.
So we see on Krauser's screen, he is electing to take the southern route to Lower Norfair. This is technically a little bit faster if you execute it completely correctly. So it isn't a big difference, but it is something. Speaking of execute it correctly, we are seeing Krauser do just that.
Yeah, keeping the speed between the rooms and going for some... I don't know if that was like a damage boost attempt, but missed. And yeah, so here, is he going to go for the... No, just regular old never dive. I don't know, like the 3 taps you have to go for to be able to make the Shine Spark here is actually pretty hard.
Yeah, traditionally you would see people do a stutter 3-tap for the Lava Spark, and it can be tricky. We see Maniacal taking down Dragon with a Shine Spark. Unfortunately, did not get the blue suit. I think because he got caught in the goo. But nothing too serious, and he's gonna get his space jump. Really nice worst stream in the game from Krauser.
Yeah, 2 shots, one to freeze the pirate, one to kill the other, and was already done with it, no problem at all. And yeah, a little bit low on the HP side, but nothing to worry from. And we'll get almost already at the end, at the bottom of the area, having been careful here not to take any hits on those key hunter.
Right, so most of the enemies in Lower Norfair will deal 40 to 50 damage with gravity suit, so Krauser can only take a couple hits here before he reaches critical HP. But he is doing a good job avoiding them. A nice double KO there through the spike platforms. Ooh, messed up on...
Ooh, that's not good.
Pirate.
Yeah.
Gonna have to reset the room.
It's way better to reset the room here rather than struggle your way against those spirals, because they will not take a hit unless they're shiny gold. And
Right, so that was what he was trying to do the first time, where he hit them both at the same time. Unfortunately, took him a couple tries, but he's just fine. A little bit low going into Ridley, but especially for experienced runners, Ridley isn't too hard with this beam setup. Only taking 20 shots.
yeah, this is the most powerful beam you can have in the game. So full charge, it deals a massive amount of damage. Actually, like it's the equivalent of one super missile and a half. And once you know how to tell like where it really is in the room, it's not scary, but that takes a lot of practice. Because he still deals, a lot of damage, 30 damage when he hits you, but yeah, no problem for Krauser, which I hope will get enough health to be confident leaving Lower Norther. Well,
interesting that he picks the Ridley tank up, but didn't want to go for the Kraid tank earlier.
Well, I guess that's just because he was so low in health. If he was like above 200 here, certainly did not get that. I'm not sure. Pretty hard to tell what justifies the choices of the runners. But he will make his way out of Lower Norther as Maniacal will enter Norther also. Yeah, the lead Krauser had since the beginning is just like getting bigger and bigger.
Right. Actually, I kind of misspoke. Technically, Ridley tank is faster to get than Kraid tank by a little bit. So if he's feeling confident with the rest of his run, but he wants to have the extra safety coming out of Lower Norther and for the Mother Brain fight, it would make sense to pick this tank up. Additionally, he might be watching the race and knows that he is far ahead of Maniacal, or even if he's not watching, he might think that. So that could be a reason why he picks up this safety.
Yeah, having the HP to be able have a safe exit out of Lower Norther is definitely a good thing. So that's why my guess was that depending on his HP, he makes the choice whether to take it or not. If you get it early in the Kraid E-Tank, it's pretty cool because you have all that room for error everywhere. You're less stressed for Phantom, for Dragon, entering Lower Norther. But as long as you make it, like, it's pretty much the same thing.
So, of course, Krauser had about 160 health after the Ridley fight and took about 200 damage on the Lower Norther escape. So, really, it paid off there. Whereas he would have had to play a lot safer or potentially died had he not picked up the Ridley tank. So, of course, the runners proving us wrong as always.
Yeah, obviously, like, skipping the E-Tank saves about, like, it's 20 seconds. It's the fanfare plus the two-door transitions plus actually, like, picking it up. It's faster for the relay E-Tank, but if you don't take it, like, obviously, if you're going for world record, you will not take it, and you just have, like, the 300, and you have to deal with that. But yeah, like, the lead of Krauser is now completely insane. He's getting all the way back to almost the beginning where the entrance to Torian is. You need... Oh, careful, Krauser. But you need to kill the 4 bosses in any order you want to be able to get to Torian.
Yeah, so Krauser looks like he's running about a 48 or 49 pace run here, so maybe not the best run he's ever done, but still an incredibly solid run from him. As somebody who is currently grinding for sub 50, I can guarantee that it is not particularly easy, so definitely impressive to get that in a race. As he's heading up to Criteria here, and he's going to make his way to G4 pretty shortly.
Maniacal doing the same thing we saw Krauser do a couple of minutes ago, making his way into Lower Norther. I never know what's fastest. We saw Krauser use his power bomb here, and Maniacal is using his charged multiple bombs to get rid of those blocks here.
You see Maniacal having just enough power bombs to get through. Interestingly, he went for instead of damaging off the spikes before he KO'd through the platform, he just went for a normal KO, but unfortunately did not get it. Of course, the difference is that the spikes do 50 damage, or the spikes do 15 damage, whereas the spike platform will do 50, so boosting off of the spikes will save you about 35 health each KO you do.
Blasphemy.
Maniacal actually has basically full health going into Ridley, so I'd like to imagine that he's going to be just fine here.
Yeah, 482 HP. It's going to be a nice fight for Maniacal. I don't see him like losing all that, and as long as you get your charge shots regularly into his face, it's going to be done very quickly. While Krauser has to get rid of all those Metroids, first freezing them with the Ice Beam, and then one Super Missile will make it. Torian has a lot of interesting rooms, and like going fast through them is very, very technical. And then you have to be sure that you have like enough resources to actually kill Mother Brain 1. So it's all about management and execution. But yeah, leaving the 4th Metroid room with 20 missiles and 10 super missiles, no problem here for Krauser.
So of course, ideally you want to have 10 super missiles coming out of that last Metroid room. But with the ammo that Krauser has, he could have afforded to be missing 1 super because he had enough missiles. But he gets the drops anyways, which is definitely a lot more comfortable. Looks like he's gonna get this Metroid skip too. So some of those Metroid rooms are really difficult to pull off optimally, and as well Metroid skip pretty difficult as well. So Krauser really showing up right now in Turian.
Yeah, the hardest part of Metroid skip is getting rid of those vines at the exit of the room, but like he got them in two hits, and just like went through, like was absolutely no problem getting that zip skip pretty fast, and get to Mother Brain instantly.
So one important thing to note here is, even though Krauser has an extra E-Tank, it doesn't necessarily mean he's any safer than he would be with 3, since you primarily want the E-Tank to dodge the catch-up beams from Mother Brain, and they can sometimes hit. So if that happens, then Krauser picking up the extra tank won't help him at all. So hopefully we don't see him get hit by anything.
Yeah, it's that fight can be very scary. Mother Brain will hit you for 300 at the end of the fight, and you need more than 300 to survive that shot. And any of her attacks deals a ton of damage, so it's all about not getting hit any at all. We saw Krauser actually take intentional hits at the end of the fight, right before that Rainbow Beam attack, because we wanted to be at less than 100 after the attack, so the cutscene would go on and the Mother Brain 3 fight would start. So, yeah, once again, management of resources and HP, and knowing exactly what you need and where you need to be at all the time.
So actually one interesting thing to note is, so of course Mother Brain will waste a few seconds damaging you down below 100 if you are above that number after the Rainbow Beam, but if you're really unlucky, the attacks she throws out there can actually kill you. So definitely not a risk these runners want to take. But it looks like at this point, there's no way Krauser can lose this, barring a freak game crash.
Choosing to go save the animals and then getting stuck in the Alcatraz, and I don't know. It's almost done. Once you get to the Mother Brain 3 fight, you get the Rainbow Beam, which just deals an insane amount of damage. So I don't think I've ever seen a runner die at the end of a fight here. It's just about like saving time if you're fast enough and if you manage to get as little lag as possible.
Alright, of course it is easier to just stand in the corner and hold shoot if you want to do Mother Brain 3, but it causes a lot of lag because of the rainbow shots being on screen. So what you saw Krauser do was jump a little bit farther forward on the screen and shoot Mother Brain's head almost point blank to minimize lag. Doesn't look like he missed any shots though, and he's already doing really well on the escape. We will see if he decides to save the animals or not. Of course, if he does, that would mean he's automatically disqualified.
Oh, getting hit here.
We see Maniacal just entering G4 here. He's running about a 55 pace. Definitely really impressive. Only a couple minutes behind his PB, but Krauser put on a show.
Yeah, I will get low 48. Very nice run overall, and lots of very good strats. Very tight execution. Did not have such a fantastic dragon fight, but except for that, it was pretty spot on. Obviously, there's still like a lot of margin for improvement and doing better in runs. So because you'll see more of Krauser. So far is second of his group, maybe first after his second win here. So he might very well be passing the group stage. And if you are still watching for all the amazing races that are going to happen on Speed Gaming, you will definitely see more of Krauser winning that race with a time of 48 minutes and 9 seconds.
He actually stopped this timer a little bit late. The official time on SRL is going to be a 48 minutes and 8 seconds. But either way, a very impressive run. So GG to Krauser.
Same story for Maniacal, but he has all these missiles and all these resources, so he was able to kill all those 3 Metroid with 1 super, being sure he would get another super back. And we'll see how well baby Metroid behaves here.
We have seen some pretty troll Metroids. It does look like he is going for the Metroid skip. We do see some runners just opt not to go for it at all. And it looks like he's getting it.
Yeah,
I don't want to say that too early, though.
Oh no, he got stuck and missed the jump. Oh well.
He jumped a little bit too far to the left on that jump. The Metroid wasn't in a great position for him to leave the room. But of course, that's my fault. I cursed him.
At least he was facing right, so saved a couple of frames there. And he's going to have to refill there, so that's even more time loss. But he's fine on resources, all his HP, so we should have no problem whatsoever to finish the run. And yeah, there are some more matches going your way today. You have Hero 82 versus Karen Konu coming up in Speed Gaming 4 in about an hour, and Ivan versus Cashmod on Speed Gaming 5 at 9 p.m. EDT.
Right, and of course, after that, we will have the Super Metroid 100% weekly race at 11 on Speed Gaming 5 as well. So going to be a little bit after the Ivan versus Cashmod race. So if you want some non-tournament, or I should say non-any percent action, we have that as well. See Maniacal just heading into the Mother Brain fight here. Of course, what I said about having an extra E-Tank not necessarily making you safe here during Krauser's fight also applies here to Maniacal. So hopefully he ideally just avoids the catch-up beams. That one was a little bit close.
Yeah, it was a bit too close for comfort, but yeah, no problem. Maniacal damaging himself intentionally here, and yeah, no problem at all. Both runners making a good show, putting on a good show on Torian. Actually, it was not the area where they struggled the most. And yeah, that dodge was pretty clutch. But thankfully, Baby Metroid, which saved just before Krauser, also saves Maniacal. No preference between the two for little fellow here that tries to kill at least Mother Brain, but the fight is too intense. And yeah, those cutscenes are pretty long. At the end of the run, you see the timer ticking up, and you just want to beat the game as fast as possible, but you have to wait through all this. And you have to see Baby Metroid dying, trying to save you over and over again.
So Maniacal is just about done. Just needs to finish up his Mother Brain 3 here and do the escape. Not having the cleanest Mother Brain 3, but still nothing too bad.
Yeah, ideally you don't want to aim diagonally all the way. You want to aim your shots a little bit better than that, but and you don't want to shoot after Mother Brain dies because it lags the game quite a lot.
All right, but either way, Maniacal gonna finish. Looks like with a high 55, assuming everything goes correctly.
And as he said, like his PB he did just before was 53.38, and he definitely is what we've seen tonight. Can do better than that, because if it wasn't for his boss fights, Batwoon and Phantom taking him a lot of time, the baby skip and time lost here and there, he could totally have beaten that today. So it's still not done for Maniacal in his group. He still has a match to do. So you will at least see one extra run from Maniacal. I also know that he streams all this practice, so if you want obviously to see more of both of them, you can follow them on Twitch. They are very good, very talented Super Metroid speedrunners, so be sure to do that if you wish.
He is going to finish with an official SRL time of 55 minutes and 43 seconds. That is a race PB for him by about half a minute.
Nice.
So GG to Maniacal.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair to run against Krauser, because that run was very clean, so Maniacal was a little bit behind all the time. We probably spent a little bit more on Krauser's run, but still did fantastic job. Any run that beats the game is a good run. If you don't die, if your run does not get stopped by anything, it's a very, very good run, because Super Metroid is a very tough game, and that just being able to beat the game is a good thing. It's not easy at all. There's a lot to learn, a lot of tricks, and there are always room for improvement. So you can always do better, which is why the game has been in the speedrunner's heart for so long. It's one of the first game that has been speedrun, so it's obvious that a lot of runners are trying to do their best, and that's why there are so many runners in that any person tournament. But yeah, we'll have to say that Krauser has a good chance to advance in the next round. But
right, of course, speaking of the runners, you can follow them there. Their Twitch pages should be linked in the Twitch chat. As well, follow my lovely co-host, Twin.
Yeah, thanks.
He's a nice commentator.
GG Derp. And yeah, good luck to you yourself as a runner in the tournament. You still have a lot of matches to go for, and you don't have the easiest group in the world. So best of luck to you.
Thank you. I definitely need to get a little bit lucky to get out of the group I'm in, though. But on behalf of all of the speed gaming staff, all the restreamers, and all the runners in the tournament, thank you for watching this race. And once again, if you are interested in seeing more, we will see you in about an hour. Is there anything else you want to add?
I'm not sure. I will see you in an hour. I will be commentating with Just Defend the race between Hero 82 and Karen Kanu. So be sure to be there if you. I hope to see you there. Bye bye.